In the ruins of what was once North America, a new nation called Panem rose from the ashes of war, environmental collapse, and human greed. Panem was divided into 12 districts, each controlled by the capital, a powerful city that lived in luxury while the districts struggled to survive. Long ago, the districts had rebelled against the capital and lost. As punishment and a reminder of its absolute control, the capital created the Hunger Games, an annual event where each district was forced to send one boy and one girl, called tributes, to fight to the death in a televised spectacle until only one remained alive. District 12 was the poorest of them all, a place of cold dust, hunger, and quiet desperation. Katniss Everdeen had learned early that survival depended on silence, skill, and sacrifice. Her father had died in a mining explosion years ago, leaving Katniss to care for her younger sister Prim and her broken mother. When food ran out, Katniss crossed the electric fence surrounding the district and hunted illegally in the woods. Her bow, her sharp instincts, and her refusal to give up kept her family alive. The day of the reaping arrived like a shadow no one could escape. Every year, the children of each district gathered as names were drawn randomly. Katniss stood among the other girls, her heart pounding, her thoughts fixed on Prim. When Prim's name was called, the world seemed to collapse in on itself. Prim was small, gentle, and terrified. Without thinking, Katniss pushed forward and shouted that she would take her sister's place. The crowd fell silent. Volunteering was rare in District 12. The officials accepted her immediately. The male tribute was Peeta Mellark, the baker's son. Katniss remembered him clearly. Years ago, when her family was starving, Peeta had thrown her a loaf of bread, risking punishment to save her life. She had never thanked him, never spoken to him about it, but the memory stayed with her. Now they stood together, bound by fate, Katniss ran until her lungs burned and her legs shook, not stopping until the sounds of fighting faded behind her. Deep in the forest, she finally slowed, pressing her back against a tree and forcing herself to breathe quietly. The arena was massive, carefully designed to look wild but controlled in every detail. Somewhere nearby, other tributes were either hiding, hunting, or already dead. Katniss checked her supplies. A small pack, some bread, a plastic sheet, and a few basic tools. No bow. That loss weighed heavily on her. Without it, she felt exposed. She climbed a tall tree to rest and to get her bearings. From above, she spotted smoke rising in the distance, a sign that the careers, tributes from the wealthy districts trained for the games, had likely claimed the main supplies. Katniss knew better than to challenge them head-on. Her plan was simple. Stay alive, avoid confrontation, and wait for an opportunity. As night fell, the arena grew colder. The capital announced the fallen tributes, projecting their faces into the sky. Several had already died. Katniss watched in silence, reminding herself not to think of them as children with families. That way lay weakness. Still, sleep came slowly, broken by fear and distant sounds. The next day, dehydration became a serious threat. Katniss searched for water, following the sounds of insects and the direction of plant growth. Eventually, she found a stream and drank deeply, careful to erase her tracks. It was there that she spotted the career pack camped nearby, lounging around a mountain of supplies. And there, leaning against a crate, was her bow and quiver. The sight made her chest tighten with longing. Katniss climbed another tree and waited, hoping for a chance. Her opportunity came when Peeta appeared, working with the careers. The sight shocked her. Confusion and betrayal warred inside her. Had his love been an act? Or was this another survival strategy? Before she could decide, the careers settled in for the arena changed subtly at first, like a living thing adjusting its breath. The forest grew quieter, the air heavier. Katniss sensed the capital's hand at work. They were growing impatient. Too many tributes were still alive, and the story needed momentum. Soon, danger arrived in the form of fire. Without warning, a wall of flames swept through the trees, forcing Katniss and Peeta out of hiding. The fire was not natural. It moved with purpose, driving them toward the others. Katniss ran, guiding Peeta as best she could, but the heat was relentless. Burning branches fell, smoke choked the air, and panic set in. They barely escaped, but Katniss's leg was badly burned. Pain slowed her down, and Peeta had to support her as they stumbled into a clearing where other tributes waited. The remaining competitors were few now, and the capital had pushed them together. Among them was Thresh from District 11, a powerful and quiet boy, and Rue's killer, the girl from District 2. The fight broke out suddenly and brutally. Katniss shot the District 2 tribute with a clean, deadly arrow. Thresh overpowered her as Katniss tried to recover her weapon, lifting her with ease. She was certain she was about to die. Then Thresh spoke. He remembered Rue, the young girl from his district who had helped Katniss earlier in the games. Rue's death had haunted Katniss, and she had honored her by covering her body in flowers, an act of quiet rebellion that moved the audience. Because of that kindness, Thresh spared Katniss's life. He warned her that they were even now and disappeared into the trees. Katniss and Peeta retreated, shaken and exhausted. The number of tributes had dropped sharply. Victory felt closer, but the capital had one more twist planned. Another announcement echoed through the arena, telling them that a feast would be held at the cornucopia. Each tribute would find something they desperately needed there. Peeta needed stronger medicine for his wound. Katniss knew what this meant. The announcement came without warning, cold and absolute. The rule allowing 2 winners from the same district was revoked. Only one tribute could survive. The capital expected betrayal. They wanted tears, rage, and a final act of violence to end the games in a way that reminded everyone who held the power. Katniss felt the weight of the moment press down on her chest. She looked at Peeta, wounded, exhausted, and still trying to smile at her as if this were somehow acceptable. Killing him was unthinkable. Dying herself would leave Prim alone. The capital had designed this choice to break her, to turn love into cruelty. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then Katniss remembered the poisonous berries Foxface had eaten. Nightlock. A different kind of weapon. An idea formed, dangerous and defiant. She suggested they eat the berries together. If there was no victor, the capital would be robbed of its ending. Peeta understood immediately. They stood side by side, hands clasped, raising the berries to their lips. The cameras were locked on them. The silence stretched. Panic rippled through the capital. The games could not end without a winner. At the last possible second, the announcer's voice cut through the air, frantic and sharp. The decision was reversed. Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark were declared the victors of the 74th Hunger Games. The relief was overwhelming, but it was short-lived. As they were lifted from the arena, Katniss caught a glimpse of the capital's reaction. What she had done was more than survival. It was defiance. And defiance had consequences. Back in the capital, they were treated as heroes. Parades, interviews, and endless praise followed. Katniss was coached carefully on what to say. The story had to be love. Anything else would be seen as rebellion. During her final interview, she spoke of her fear of losing Peeta, of choosing death over life without him. The audience loved it. The capital smiled. But President Snow did not.